Nobody wins when the family feels, but my stash can't.
What we do? Ooh, I smoke, baby. Ooh, I smoke, Diggy. Ooh, I smoke.
I smoke every outside Diggy.
Hey,
No,
who smoke?
baby. Diggy.
Who else?
Baby.
Who else? Who else?
Rocket! I'm a grass today. I'm a dance today. I'm a bands in the same. I'm straight up in the rave. You ain't gonna crash with me.
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't even slowing down. I ain't even, feel me? I'm in my own lane. I'm just going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So a nigga got a mission. So shit, I'm just focused at this point.
What's the goal out of this music?
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I really ain't gonna lie for the goal and shit. When I came in, my goal was to be big as hell, big dumb houses, big dumb raw cars, and you know what I'm saying, wars and all that type of shit. But really, shit, bro, the goal right now, shit, really just to be happy and shit.
Right.
Like, just find shit to be happy for everybody. My sons, really, my girl, my family, just want everybody to be happy and shit. That's my goal right now, just to be. My focus is on happiness right now.
Imagine every time you get arrested, you lose a brother. And each time you get arrested, it's for parole violation, with one of them being for just being a sole survivor. And when I say soul, I don't mean S-O-L-E. I mean S-O-U-L. And one is just for being a sole survivor in a car that was shot up and took the life of everyone else except him, which we'll later discuss. But now you're arrested again for being a felon around more firearms and ammo to start a war, all because your driver shouldn't have been driving. And all this possibly could have been avoided, of course, which we'll later explain in the video. Now in the title and in the video, we spell soul S-O-U-L, and that wasn't by mistake. The reason being, the young man we'll later discuss in this video is literally the sole survivor in his space. His crew and his alleged gang been taken away from him. So getting arrested, being around a firearm, fam, I hate to say, I understand. Hopefully by the end of the video, you'll get where I'm going with this. His life public. And recent events, which we'll later discuss, show he at the point where he needs to. And like they say, family, rather be caught with it than without it. But with everything going on, this young man continued to lose the ones that mean the most to him, a sole survivor. Today we talk about who this man is, his rise to fame, and the public events where he suffered the most, all the way to his recent arrest within the last 24 hours. So before we go over this one, remember, I don't give you no angle, I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna jump right to it. Keonta Buller, aka Young and Ace, born and raised in Jacksonville, Florida.
We say though, bro.
For sure.
All right.
I catch y'all. All right.
The home he was raised in was a casualty to the local war, even mentioning in an early interview how they, quote-unquote ops, shot up his mom's house. Check it out.
My little brother Quan, they shot my house up from right up. This is my mama's shit. They shot my mama's house. They shot this part right up. My mama was in the room. They shot that. My house always got shot up. They always spent on my shit. We doubling back though, for real. Come here though.
According to authorities, Young and Ace is the leader of an alleged gang who has managed to be the topic of Jacksonville, Florida PD a number of times. Coming into the rap game in 2017, before being known for his hit songs, he'll be most known for his Florida-style dreadlocks. In 2018, people outside of Florida had tuned in after his hit song Pain had made his rounds. Now, besides the raw emotions and the connection with so many people and a track called Pain, like most rappers, you have to go through something to make a song like this and make a connection like this. Having lyrics like, they ask me if I'm okay, ain't okay. I've been hurt my whole life. I lost my best friend, my mud brother, all in one. Fam, that was the lyrics to the very beginning of the song. That song showed Young and Ace in blood, wrapped up in a bandage at a local motel, singing/rapping his emotions. The song was an emotional song that Young and Ace did as he grieved to his fans that he lost his brother and his best friend, not to mention a guy he grew up with and refers to as his mud brother. It was a late night. Their car was shot up at a red light, leaving a local restaurant to celebrate his brother's birthday. The sole survivor, once mentioning in an interview, he heard his brothers take his last breath. But it was one mistake that Young and Ace and his brothers did that they'll later regret. Most people living this life know this is what not to do, even if you're not in the streets in these new times. And that was expose your location while you was there. Young and Ace and his brothers did just that via social media, and it would literally cost them their lives. June 2018, Town City Boulevard. This would be a day that changed Young and Ace's life forever.
From the town center, and dozens of people were nearby. Action News Jack's Kevin Clark continues our live team coverage near the shooting scene. And Kevin, right now JSO is asking anyone who witnessed the shooting or the cars involved to come forward.
And police say there were multiple cars in the area at the time of the shooting. And anybody who knows this area knows just how busy it can get. I want to show you the orange paint that investigators marked down. It's the area right by where this happened. And we're only about a half mile away from the St. John's Town Center. I also spoke with a man over Twitter who told me he saw the shooting happen in front of him and he quickly drove away. And he told me he wasn't able to identify the suspect's car. Now, again, as we mentioned, the St. John's Town Center is just down the road. We know that's also where the victims were coming from. We spoke to several people who live, work, and shop in this part of town. Some were completely baffled about what happened because they consider this a very safe area.
Of all places, yeah. It's just the world is getting weird.
I feel bad that it's over here so close in this area, you know.
Now, as you heard in the news clip, Young and Ace was shot as well. But this is when we shine light on serious issues within our community, family. Health insurance and probation, which Young and Ace didn't have when he was shot, which caused him a delay on getting the proper treatment. Not to mention, he was on probation as well, which caused him to be rearrested for being in a car that was victims to a shooting that caused his brother's life and almost his. And as soon as your career about to take off, your image was tampered with after you was arrested and local authorities made you cut your hair.
Keontae Bullard, the only survivor of the quadruple shooting after a birthday dinner at the town center, facing a Clay County judge. Right now, he's behind bars for violating his probation. Action News Jax told you Saturday that the 20-year-old turned himself in. Now, new at noon, Action News Jax reporter Beth Russo is taking a closer look at how Bullard's time behind bars will affect the search for the gunman.
Turn your lights down low now. Turn your lights down low, y'all.
Keontae Bullard is being held without bond here at the Clay County Jail. His attorney tells me that means he won't be attending the funerals for his brother or friends killed in the quadruple shooting near the St. John's Town Center. Keontae Bullard is the only person who made it out of this car alive.
When the shooting started, he leaned over to try to protect his friend in the driver's seat.
Today, the 20-year-old faced a Clay County judge for violating the conditions of his probation, which include not possessing any firearms. He was seen in a gun store the same day as the quadruple shooting.
He picked up a gun, held the gun, and put it back down. He didn't shoot it, he didn't buy it, didn't leave the store with it.
Haas claims Bullard, well known as Young and Ace in the rap community, is being treated harsher by law enforcement due to his music and involvement in the shooting, which JSO has deemed gang-related.
Because he held a gun and he's a prohibited person, the law is specific.
Action News Jax law and safety expert Dale Carson says the shooting likely led investigators to the evidence that landed Bullard behind bars, but it's not discrimination. He tells me it will affect the drive-by investigation moving forward.
Sheriff's office and the state attorney's office will apply as much pressure to this individual as they can to get him to tell them who it was that shot and killed these three individuals.
Now, according to authorities, the motive for that shooting that caused Young and Ace brothers their life and almost his was likely retaliation for the reason Young and Ace was on probation the year before. Though he wasn't charged for the body, authorities believe he played a part in a man losing his life the year prior. A man who was the cousin to the Florida rapper Julio Fulio, which some say was the start of a beat that caused bodies to be dropped, diss songs to be made and played millions of times, like Who I Smoke by Young and Ace and When I See You by Julio Fulio, both very disrespectful songs. The incident we talking about that caused this war allegedly is the shooting death of Zion Brown, who was gunned down May 2017 after being killed in a drive-by shooting at his home.
Tonight, we are hearing from a teenage girl still recovering from a gunshot wound in a deadly triple shooting over the weekend. Now, we're blurring her face for her protection because the gunman hasn't been caught.
It's traumatizing. Seeing all that blood, you don't know what to do, you panic.
Now, that 16-year-old you just heard from was wounded early Saturday morning inside a home on Rawhide Trail. She was shot in the leg. A 9-year-old was shot in the neck.
Her 18-year-old brother, this man Zion Brown, was killed in that shooting. His death was part of an especially violent Memorial Day weekend. Since Friday, 12 people have been shot here in Jacksonville, leaving 4 dead, 8 wounded. Here's a map showing you the various locations of the shootings. Channel 4's Eric Avanier spoke with that teenage girl. He's joining us live. Eric, what did she tell you about how the gunman got into the home?
Well, Tom, she's describing this as a home invasion in which the gunman made forced entry into the back door. Now, I got to tell you that what's really disturbing about all this is that while all this was happening, there were some small children in this home who had to witness the horror unfold right before their eyes.
It's scary. It's scary. That's not a situation for nobody to be in. It's traumatizing. Seeing all that blood, you don't know what to do, you panic.
This 16-year-old gunshot victim, whom we are not identifying for security reasons, says she and her family were fast asleep when a brick came crashing through this sliding glass door. It woke everyone up. She says she called 911, but before police arrived, a gunman entered through the broken glass door.
When he came in here, he seen that my little cousins, they was kids. He didn't have no remorse like for us. He was just shooting. He really shot until it was no more bullets in his gun.
She says she tried to hide behind a couch, but was shot in both her legs. Her 18-year-old brother, Zion Brown, was killed.
He was laying against the wall, but his body was out. Like, he couldn't really fit into the hospital.
So he died against the wall right
here? He didn't die immediately. Okay. He died once he got to the hospital.
Okay, and there was another person that was shot too.
My cousin, she got shot in her neck and in her right arm.
Right after the gunman fired all his rounds in the living room, he walked right back out the same door that he came through. And this all happened just as police were pulling up. Another young family member says he was in the hallway and peeped around the corner and saw the gunman and a second suspect who was standing in the kitchen. The child says both suspects were black and both were wearing blue jeans. One was wearing a black jacket and the other a red hat. He said he quickly ran back to his room and hid under the bed until the coast was clear.
Guaranteed fresh? Ah, this is going to be expensive. Wait, it's not expensive?
It's an Aldi thing.
Well done, Viv. You pulled off a great party. Now here's a nice surprise for you.
Now, the 16-year-old that we spoke to says that she believes the shooting was retaliation for an alleged assault that she reported to police.
A 19-year-old man was arrested and charged with second degree. A man who was allegedly close affiliated with Young Ace, John Trey Thomas. Fast forward to 2024, JSO believe ATK, according to an affidavit, stands for Ace to Kill and is a gang, especially after a Florida artist like Queso, who rep ATK, was arrested for a shooting and allegedly taking the life of a teen named Bibi. Broad daylight in Julio Fulio neighborhood, they allege ops.
Arrested, I am gonna shake Duval County. I just want justice for my child. I'm gonna rock this city until they get justice for my baby. The reason a lot of these murders not getting solved is because ain't nobody saying nothing. My son was a straight A student. He made music and he might have sung gangster songs or rap gangster music. He was not a thug and he was not a gangster.
Pray and hug at the scene where 16-year-old Adrian Gaynor was shot and killed 3 years ago today.
Behind these gates is nothing but death to us.
Gaynor's mother, Elizabeth Gaynor, says this day changed her life forever.
It's a nightmare every day. Not just today, every day.
And what do you miss the most about him?
His spirit, his smile, his laughs, his jokes, everything.
Investigators say Adrian Gaynor was shot inside the Hilltop Village apartments. Hakeem Robinson, known as local rapper Queso, is awaiting trial in connection to his murder. Gaynor's family says they're marching today for all victims of gun violence.
It's too much killing, and it's too much gun violence. If everybody just put their guns down, and why we all just can't get along instead of taking each other's kids away.
And what do you want Adrian to know?
That we're here. We're not going anywhere.
Queso going as far as rapping about the crime, even putting his face along other deceased people on his mixtape. Queso would later get arrested and will wait in trial, with his dad set to testify against him, recently going viral for what he said to authorities. Quoting, "Testifying against my son is worse than killing him, but still had plans to testify." Young Ace packed up and moved to Texas, allegedly, and for the most part, staying out the way. Having close calls like being stopped by the feds after losing a close friend who was also a rapper who he had projects with, Jada Youngin, funeral, who was gunned down in his hometown in front of his house.
Yeah, shit. Look how they do your boy, man. We had a motherfucking funeral, bro. How the fuck?
Damn. Man, you disrespectful as fuck. You making them hit.
Background, and being stopped in Texas with his girlfriend last year, and being asked about an alleged Florida-based gang in Texas.
Where you from?
I'm from Florida, Jacksonville.
Jacksonville?
Yeah, I'm from
Duval?
Yeah, I'm from
That's what that JKF is.
Because when we ran, you came back as a. Are you claiming anything back in Duval?
What's me?
Like gang? You in a gang?
Nah, I ain't in no game.
They got you to register as a gang member. That's what I'm trying to say.
For sure.
What you used to claim over there? Is it young Gee or young? That's what it came up with.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You.
That was like my rap,
That was your rap name?
but we had fell out, you know.
Oh, that was your rap group.
Somebody signed a deal to everybody.
But what you claim? I see you got red. So
See if you can do that.
Now, on a positive note, one of Young and Ace brothers had went viral for staying out the streets and for what he could do on the football field. But in the last 24 hours, Young and Ace went to Instagram to post in his story that he lost another brother. But this time, it wasn't a gun violence. It was due to a heart failure. Now, before we continue with this video, we want to stop and say rest in peace to every victim that we just talked about and level condolences to their family. Now, shortly after that post, Young and Ace will be arrested after getting pulled over with firearms. It seems they were legal, but the truck was searched because the driver was driving with a suspended license. And as we all know, at this point, Young and Ace is a convicted felon on probation, so he cannot be around firearms. 6 people in an all-black 2023 Suburban truck with Alabama tags was pulled over after failing to stop at a stop sign at a 4-way intersection on 9th South Street. Young and Ace put his life in the hands of a YouTuber named ATKQ's TV, real name Marquise Wharton, 24 years old, who, as we mentioned, ran the stop sign with firearms in the car with a suspended license. Not to mention, his friend, the breadwinner in that car, is a convicted felon. According to authorities, firearms was in plain sight during the traffic stop. 6 people was in the truck, as we mentioned. Only 2 was arrested, the driver and Young and Ace. The driver, as we mentioned, having suspended license, having a bond less than $5,000, and Young and Ace being a felon around firearms and ammunition with a bond of $150,000. You can only assume what's going through Young and Ace's mind right now and what he feeling. With so much death and interactions with the law, you can only assume that you feel like your time is next. Sending love and prayers to everyone who was affected by the series of events that we just talked about. Fam, this was the story of a Florida rapper who lost a brother and was arrested within 24 hours twice. Let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until then,